Good evening. It is June 13th or 14th, I don't know, Sunday. We got some strong wind coming here. There's a storm front just starting to blow in. I'm actually hiding in my truck to try and not have the wind noise too horrible. I apologize if it sounds terrible. I'll go downstairs in just a second here. I actually went and tightened up all my cables because the tower was moving quite a bit. You know, summer swooped in pretty fast here. It's been, there's some thunder. It's been about 90 degrees all week, last week and a half. And your cables, when they warm up, they stretch. Just like when they cool down, they tighten up. So I hadn't gone through and cinched them all up. I put 3 turns on all of my turnbuckles. Them guys. Because I could see the cables on this side and that side starting to droop pretty bad. The wind's coming in from the northeast, so it's real cold, real dense air, and Turbine is just zinging. I was down there a couple minutes ago, and I saw her zoom up over 900 watts. This is actually the first time since I've had the new charge controller, the MPPT charge controller, installed, that I've actually gotten productive wind. It's just been normal wind, and it makes good power every single day, but it's actually doing what it's rated to do, like right now. So I'm gonna go down there and we can take a look at it while the wind is cracking. So it's a little exciting, and hopefully some rain swoops in and waters the garden. We'll look at that another day though. Okay. So, she's swaying in the wind right now, trying to catch it. I can hear it. I got the window open, so it's not blowing crazy right now, but it will. Let me steady the camera. And we're just getting nasty gusts blowing stuff all over. There was stuff hitting the door as I was closing it behind me. I was kicking up the dust and gravel from the driveway. But even this, whatever. 9 amps, 8, 9, 10. We'll average it 9, for a steady current. That's sweet for 10 o'clock at night. Having power coming in at night on an off-grid system is awesome. Because the house is using 270 watts. We got the TV and a bunch of fans and a bunch of lights stuff on. So having anything help keep us over 25 volts is just killer. Well, of course I turn the damn camera on and the wind slows down. She's still going, but it's not doing what it was when this front first blew in. But anyhow, so this controller has been up and running for just over a month. We've got about 34 kilowatt hours grossed on it, so we're averaging over kilowatt hour a day, just over. But the solar has been doing so good lately. We got 6 kilowatt hour just today. So the brakes have been coming in on the controller. It's been putting the brakes on the turbine by, oh, there we go, 500. Putting the brakes on the turbine by noonish. There's some power. Just about every day. Otherwise, it would have grossed a lot more. If we needed the power, you know, there was a lot more to harvest, and it would have. But batteries were full, so, you know, smart controller put the brakes on and prevented that from coming in. The diversion controller has been working great. SSR has been holding up. That's dumping, 580. Diversion controller has been every time I look away it starts going. I saw 590. This has been dumping power into the electric water heater every single day. Water temp is getting 650 I saw. Water temp has been getting up to 110, 115 almost every single day. So we're having no problem being able to, you know, run the dishwasher with hot water and then still, you know, take, you know, we're a family of 5, so being able to take hot showers is a big deal. We don't need hot showers in the summer, but being able to clean dishes is cool. Well, that sounds like a good gust. 670. Come on, let's see, 800. You know, and of course, before I went from my camera, I saw 944, but you don't believe me unless you see it. And I know what you're gonna say, Billy. Those are just freaky peaks and they don't mean nothing. But I'm 2 years in on this Chinese wind turbine, and here she is jamming 16 watts into my battery bank, or 16 amps into my battery bank at 10 o'clock at night. That's awesome. Super awesome. Now, since I've had this controller, this is the first real wind it saw, so it's kind of exciting. Well, now she's going. Come on, catch it. Seven. Yeah. If we hit 900, I'm doing the power dance. If you're watching this video, you know what the power dance is. Oh, this is pretty damn exciting here. 20 amps. Shh. That's just wicked cool. From a $450 Chinese wind turbine. And she's on a 35-foot pole. I cut off the factory tail. If you haven't seen prior videos, put a large X tail on, 2-foot tall, 18-inch spread from 16-gauge steel. You know, that's wicked cool though. This is about the steadiest power I've ever seen come out of this thing. You know, steadiest like big power. This turbine has seen lots of windstorms, and it's gone over 1,000 watts with just the rectifiers, you know. But that was such unstable power. You know, it'd zoom up to 400, down to 15, up to 500, down to 20 watts, up to 600, back down to 10 watts. It was up and down and up and down. And you can see this controller is working hard, keeping power coming in. You know, those amps aren't dipping below 4 amps, you know, and that's just nice, steady power. That's awesome. So, it's working. It's working really good. One quick update. The power meter that I had coming off of my generator. Anybody that saw the generator video, fried. This was the terminal here that was soldered in right like so. That's a negative, positive, and that's the voltage sense. I ran the generator. I was doing an equalize on the batteries, and I ran the generator at 2,000 watts for about a minute and a half, and I could smell it, and it started to heat up. Actually melted plastic on the case and burned the solder right off the connection, and you know, there it is. She fried. So it is rated 0 to 300 watts, 0 to 100 amps, 30,000 watt, or yeah, 0 to 300 volts, 100 amps, 30,000 watts. Nope. I was running 2,000 watts for about a minute and a half and smoked it. So I generally run the generator at about 1,500 watts. I've got the throttle set for 1,500 watts. So I just removed the meter. So now if I have to use it, then it is what it is. I fill it up, start it, and run it till it runs out of gas. If the voltage climbs above set voltage, the diversion just sends the extra power over to the water heater, and it's not a big deal. It's a 600 watt element in the water heater, so that helps mitigate any over voltage. And this guy kicks on every single day. Works really good. Heatsink with no fan or nothing, just a heatsink. Has been holding up real good. But yeah, there she is, making good power. I don't know. I would have been happy to see 800, but it sounds like it wants to do it. But yeah, system is dialed in. Haven't had any issues with low batteries. The old original bank, this is the bank I used for the first 3 years. Those restored and tied back into the primary bank. These are the new batteries. Been rocking these for over a year now. So put them together for a collective almost 1,000 amp hours at 24 volts. So I've got 24 kilowatt hour total storage, 12 kilowatt hour usable, safe usable storage. I don't want to cycle my batteries. I want to keep these for a long, long time. So if you can keep them from cycling, they'll you know, in theory, lasts forever. If they never drop below 24, then it's not a cycle. You just gotta maintain your electrolyte and, you know, make sure you just don't ever let your batteries run low. And between my solar and my wind, I've balanced my incoming power with what I use. You know, the system makes, between wind and solar, the system makes 6 to 9 kilowatt hours a day. We use 2.5 to 3. So, and everything else after the batteries are full ends up going up the diversion load and heating water. So, yeah, she's dialed in. She's dialed in good. I barely even check the meters anymore. I got a remote voltage meter in the living room, and when I come home from work, I give it a quick glance, and batteries are good. I smile, and I go on with my evening. But, you know, if you're trying to be off-grid, putting a system together, stay at it. Build for expansion. Start with a good charge controller and good batteries. Don't waste your money on crap inverters. Get a good inverter. Sinewave, you probably never heard of them. They're awesome. Real pure sine. Real 3000. And it can actually peak up to 6000 for 20 seconds. Not just for, you know, a millisecond. It doesn't do that wimpy soft start stuff. That's got a big heavy duty transformer in it. Big heavy duty heat sinks for passive cooling. And notice how I mounted it. The fans at the bottom, there's vents on the top, all the heat sinks inside. So, you know, if it does warm up, it just passively cools itself off. I've only kicked that fan on once or twice in 4 years of use. And that's when I was torture testing. You know, but build for expansion. Start with a good charge controller. Don't screw around. You know, if you think you only need, you know, you're gonna buy 2 solar panels, 200-watt solar panels. Oh yeah, I'll just get by with a 20-amp charge controller. Well, when you kill your batteries and that turns out not to be enough power, now you need more panels and you need another charge controller. Start with a big charge controller. Start with a 60 or an 80 or 100 amp charge controller that has some options, some parameter features, good monitoring, and get yourself some meters so you can see what's coming in and what's going out. Because that's the only way you're ever going to get it dialed in, unless you can balance what's coming in and going out and what's staying in the batteries. You got to keep these guys happy, because this is a big investment here. Panels are cheap. This stuff is cheap in comparison to this stuff. And the cost of wire now. Don't cheap out on it. Get heavy gauge. I got double aught on everything, because that's big amps, you know. It can be done. You can put it together right. Don't give up. Build for expansion. Because if you're just getting into being off-grid, your first setup isn't going to be enough. I'll tell you that right now. You're going to add. So build for expansion. Okay? So, anyhow, thanks for watching. God bless you. Gotta love seeing power coming in at 10:15 at night. Take care.